Hello, everybody, and welcome to GLATD. We are your hosts, my boy Braden White, and I am Jessica Milagros. Well, I don't know if this is Braden White or like he's in his New York Fashion Week era. I'm not quite sure. He didn't tell me that he was this hot, so I obviously missed the memo.
It's fine. Listen, you always look great. I am just in my elusive mystery girl era. You don't know what she's thinking. You don't know what's on her mind. So that's why I just up
Very.
like this.
Well, it's you look actually absolutely perfect for the amount of tea I assume you're going to spill. You look like someone who is ready to spill tea. You're ready to talk. You're ready to you know,
I'm ready to give it to you all. I'm ready to
yes,
feed the children.
to give your 2 cents, all of those things. But before we do
Right on.
any of that, welcome, chat. Click like and subscribe. Click to receive notifications. This is our first week back. We actually were on last week. This is totally, I'm just going to say it, totally my error. We haven't been on for a couple of weeks. I've had some unfortunate situations happen. Let me put this up. So but we're back. We're back.
Back and like
And
better.
yes, back and better than ever, baby. And we're here to talk about everything that we missed except for Ty's HOH because we don't really care about that. Um
Oh no.
give us- he says, "Oh, I forgot Jessica was messy."
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah,
We
that was
don't
such a great
know.
week.
We don't know. No, I did leave. Thank you. Actually, big props to Brayden and Tanisha for holding down the house, not
Oh,
last week, but the week prior. Because they did amazing. I was watching, by the way, for the people who knew that I was actually chatting. I was just completely unavailable. But yeah, last week I was in my own, in my own fields over personal situations, and I could
fine.
just not deal with a Thai HOH. That like to have to recap that mess, especially with how dramatic. I mean, imagine the dramaticness of how everybody else in
Uh,
the house took it. That
the
I had
sobbing was a
to
lot for
what?
me.
Maybe you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I probably would have stopped. I love Jonathan. Like Jonathan was top tier. I thought Jonathan was actually going to be at least top 5, in my opinion. I was not expecting that.
I agree. I didn't see it. It just seemed like a weird time for him to go. Like, oh, okay, I guess. But I think I definitely would have been Daniel in that moment and been like, girl, let's let's get back into the game, y'all. There's no need to be sobbing. Let's move on, you
did
know?
you did you think that that was a little much with the extra sob?
Absolutely. Listen, I dealt through it on my season when I don't know if it was really shown because I can't really remember, but when Jed backdoored Kiefer and put him on the block, I remember like everyone was sobbing, like same way that everyone was sobbing in that house. And I just remember I was sitting there like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, obviously it's sad he's on the block, but like he's not dead. Like, I
We
was
take
just
our
like,
things very personal. But what are you going to expect? I mean, half of that house is cancers. I'm sorry for people.
period.
I know that a lot of people are not into the whole astrology thing, but bear with me, y'all, because this has a lot to do with the
The
messiness.
math just really
Did
maths
it,
sometimes,
thank you. Thank you. Or we said this in the casting, like in the cast assessment, that this was going to
Yep.
be a messy, chaotic, emotional season just because of the people in there. You had nothing but
Yeah,
water
period.
signs and fire signs. Like that's just a recipe for disaster.
It's a
That
recipe
was
for drama,
a
and
very. So
there's the
if
drama.
so if you're gonna have a ton of cancers and a ton of like yes, they're gonna be crying. They're water signs. I'm
It was just I'm
sorry.
just, like, such an earth sign where I'm just like, "Is this really necessary?" Like, I
Exactly.
really have to be upsetty spaghetti to be sobbing, and, like, when Aniko was like, "I don't even care about that girl Shania, she needs to go, I can't stand this girl. She's going home next week, how dare she?" I'm like, "Girl, is it that deep?" Like,
We
it was
said
never that
we
serious.
it's like Joseph says, the cast is bringing everything, but it feels like what happened in BB24 forced the producers to phone it in. It's a great season, but people hate it because it can't use the feeds to control the game. Well, it's one of those things. Like, look, I don't think they need. Uh, hot take. I'm gonna be like canceled in a second, but I really don't need they. I don't think they needed live feeds in order to be this chaotic. And I think it's exactly what they thought it was gonna be. They knew all of this, and they knew it was gonna be chaotic and messy, and that people needed to like express that this house was going to express however they were going to express, and that it was that having live feeds was going to be very chaotic for them because this is a chaotic cast. I love it, don't get me wrong. I
I just
actually really love all of them minus Ty, but
I just feel like with feeds, we would've just got even more chaos, you know?
oh, yeah, but then we would have had a lot of people just trying to cancel absolutely everybody. Absolutely everybody. And I think that right now, everybody on Twitter is just like so low key. I think we're finally at a point on the feeds, like not on the feeds, but the Twitter, the Twitter feeds,
Mhm.
where people, even though there's some people still saying, give us back our feeds, but like we have 3 weeks left until the end of this game.
Which is wild, that's zooming.
It has been. It really has been. But I've really enjoyed it. I think that they just didn't need the feeds. Like it would have Twitter would have somehow just been mad. I mean, people are still mad on Twitter over some of the things that have happened on this season. But, you know, I like drama. Well, I digress. We had yeah, we're not gonna talk too much about this because we're supposed to be recapping the season. So
Period.
look, we had a crazy past week. We've had Jonathan unfortunately leaving.
Hear
Um,
that.
very sad. Um Kuzi with the her second HOH.
Period, queen
Um,
kings.
and then we had books flying, we had people, holding down
Locked out of
doors and locked out of the pool room. Uh th- and this fatal feast. And this was kind of wild. We're going to start now with just the beginning of the fatal feast, which was yesterday's episode.
period.
Bray, like I have to ask, how did you feel about this whole holding down the door? Like Hope,
Oh, door
uh,
gate.
yes. Oh, now we have a door gate, so we have a plenty amount of gates. Forget
Period.
sweater gate. Forget um, you know, self
Helen
eviction
was pushed
gates.
gate.
Like hell,
Period.
yeah. All these gates. Now we're on door gate. Like, how do you feel about
I
this?
I listen, my issue is that I can definitely understand, like, both sides. I do think, though, it was kind of rude to
So rude.
lock them out because, like, I think you have to realize I mean, maybe I'm not the most brushed up on my BB history. But typically, when there's a power, like it's for one person, and like that person usually has like a secret mission, and like they're the ones that have to deal with it. Like, I feel as though if like there's 5 people involved, I'm like, oh, it's not really a secret power. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where my
Hmm.
mind's at because I'm like, what are we all gonna do? Rock, paper, scissors for it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just feel like at that point when I'm like, oh, there's literally 5 of us in here, maybe it's not a secret power. But then again, I'm sure there's been instances where there's been multiple people that all had to do a secret power. I just like think about certain things in the past. Like typically it's usually one person. So I understand them wanting to close them out because of
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah,
I just feel
usually it
like,
is a mission. It's usually
yeah,
like
it's like
in the
one
letter,
person.
it'll say,
Don't
your
tell anyone.
mission is do not tell anybody and get to this place as fast as you can with nobody seeing you. And there's usually rules to that, right? If it's,
Exactly. And like if you walk in a room and the whole room, and like the you walk into a room and the door itself will lock behind you. Like Big Brother will do that for you. So that way, no one else can get in there with you. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
there's usually things that usually happen. So I don't know. If I was the girly pops, I'd be pissed off. And I think that, again, I'm gonna be controversial, but I do think that because it was like the Twitter faves that were the ones locking people out, more people were okay with it. But I think, had we seen this on BB24 where like everyone locked Taylor out, there would be uprisings.
There would be it absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know what
I
I mean?
think
Like,
that there is there would definitely be more people.
yeah, no, absolutely. But like I said, I understand obviously it's a game and like that's Big Brother and obviously production didn't chime in at all. So clearly
Yeah.
what's fair is fair. But I can understand why those three would be so mad. And anyone who says
Yeah.
like they would be
I
chill with it is lying. Anyone who's like, oh, if it was me, I would just be like, oh, it's a game. Hell no. If you were locked out of a room for over an hour, ain't no way you're just like, it is what it is. Anyways, let me go about my
yeah.
day.
I and I did post this. I was a little taken aback
Mhm.
by this. Didn't agree. And I also thought that it was hella rude. It was actually one of the rudest moments that I've experienced in quite some time. And but at the same time, that was just more my personal taste as
Same.
to I do not appreciate it. So in this case, I'm gonna go pro girly pops and say like, yeah, I would have been super pissed. I would
Yeah.
have been insanely pissed. Now, is it against the rules? Is it like what's weird is that typically in BB and in BBUS, like we're not allowed to hold doors and lock people out of conversations. Like if they walk in, they walk in. Like that's just one of the rules that you're
Mhm.
not supposed to obstruct, doorways and things of that nature so people can't get in. But in this case, BB Can was all about Hope just holding down, like they wanted the extra drama, which made zero sense because this was actually an experience for them and not a
Mhm.
special power, which really sucks. If I was on the receiving end, I'd be really pissed
Yeah.
knowing that they've experienced all of this and they were doing this as a group and this particular group like cut me out.
Exactly.
So
Like I think their
now
feelings are very valid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was just very uncomfortable. It was really cringy for me to watch in that sense because it was like I wouldn't go like I know that some people on Twitter were talking about, "Oh, this is like bullying." No, I don't think that it's bullying. Like
That part.
like you gotta read the definition on bullying. Like that's not necessarily the case. This is a game. They did in fact think that it was a special power and they're just being hella competitive. Were they
Mhm.
being rude about it? Absolutely. Were
Oh,
they was it
1000%.
cringe? 1000%. But I don't know about the whole bullying thing.
I just feel
However,
like, oh, you
still time to
continue.
be targeted. I was like, that would be enough for me
Oh,
to just want to target
easily,
everybody and their mama.
easily. All I need is a reason, and baby, you just served it up on a platter. But I just feel like it's even more embarrassing for them to all now have to do like the walk of shame when they're like, "Hey guys, um,
You were actually supposed to do
it's
this.
for everyone. So like, come read this really cool letter." And they're all like, "I don't give a fuck about a letter. Like, who cares? Like, y'all are so rude and so nasty." And they're like, "But guys, there's gonna be a feast." Like, to me, that is so embarrassing. Like, I would die of embarrassment after all of that.
It was not just like that's the crazy part is that they like every week they have situations like this where they blow up at each other and it's like the cringiest and worst type of blow ups and
Absolutely.
then like in a day or two they look like they're besties again and they forget Like,
Could never be me.
they could not, like, I don't
Could
get
really
it.
never be me.
I thank you, because I, not to say like I hold grudges, but I kind of do hold grudges, and that's just whoever you play
1000%.
with. It doesn't matter if it's a game or not. Some people in real life, it takes them time to get over shit. Some people never get over it. And I
Oh,
mean, that's
period.
just the point of that's the part of the game. And it seems like here, it's like they say whatever the hell again, they're chaotic and messy, which I love. And then they forget. It's like they have like a reset switch in their brain that just makes them forget about everything that has been said.
Well, I just
And
don't know if, like, they really do just, like, default to, like, "Oh, well, I apologize, so, like, it's fine," like, they have to be over it, but I'm like, I no. Especially in a game like this, like, that's why I was, like, kinda, like, skipping forward, but when Kuzi was, like, so shocked that Claudia didn't pick her, I was like, "Well, I mean, A, you're not in her alliance, the girly pops, and B, like, literally, like, 2 days earlier, you were in a room where someone was holding it shut, and they wouldn't let her in, so, like, uh, yeah, of course she's not gonna pick you, like, I wouldn't be shocked, like, I don't know why she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Claudia wouldn't pick me." I'm
how
like,
dare
"Well."
she? How dare I'm like, Kuzi, I'm sorry. Did you forget that you locked her out of a of a of a room? Like, the only 3 people that she, or the only 2 people that she should probably trust are the 2 that she picked, like, the 2 people that are playing veto for her right now, regardless. Even though I do agree with Kuzi in saying that,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
of
Renee
course, it made
totally
sense.
sucks. Like, now, after looking at this episode yesterday, this today, and watching the episode, I was like, no wonder Ty won. Like, you picked
It was
you
it was
picked
very much
Renee.
stacked in his favor,
Very much, very much so.
you
And
know?
was it weird too that Claudia was cheering on Ty as DeVito was going? Like, it was very
Yeah, and, like, I understand why Claudia wouldn't pick Kuzi, solely because I know that she is so confused on whether or not, like, they're actually working together, and maybe she was scared Kuzi would pull Ty down, but I just feel like then, like, she has so many options where she's like, "Okay, well, if you pull Ty down, then I'm putting up Anika, or I'm putting up Daniel C,"
yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, she has so many other options, so I I think it's a hard thing to choose, but
Yeah, I guess you're always going to pick, your alliance members.
period.
I I get it, but at this point with Ty, it's just like you want to get people who who are known to be able to win a competition of some sort. I don't know. Um, let's go back to the Fatal Feast.
Mhm.
This Santina was the one who ended up leaving. Do you agree or disagree with that? With that, in terms of, because before, let's go back, because
Mhm.
before Kuzi was HOH thinking
Oh,
she was
yeah.
going to have a regular HOH, and her targets were actually Santina and Ty. Those were
Mhm.
the 2 people that she was thinking about putting up on the block, because she said that they were going to be, they are the biggest threats, and she wants, to take out another big player. How do you
Mhm.
feel about this? I know that Kuzi is like, okay, one of my targets is out, but was this a smart decision?
I don't think it was a smart decision for the crown because obviously, like, you're leaving a fully intact alliance to just literally play in the next HOH, play in the next veto. So I think in that sense, it wasn't the smartest. I know that they obviously wanted Ty gone more. Um, but I do think that Santina would have been loyal to them. And I think that we've even seen, like, in her post interviews where she's like, oh, like, I would have picked Daniel C, or I would have picked Anika, like, if someone would have chose me because I was loyal to Kuzi. Which is also so weird to me about this house is that, like, Kuzi will have, like, a full-on, like, 30-minute one-on-one with Santina about how, she wants it to be them 2 in the final 2, they wanna ride or die, and, Santina's on board because Santina has no one else. And
Yeah.
then for Kuzi to be like, "You know what? I'm getting rid of Santina and Ty this week." Like, at least put up the showman stand. Like, if you want
Yeah.
Ty gone, put up Claudia, and that way, you know, worst case scenario, Ty comes down, you put up another girly pop, and you know, now you're at least dismantling an alliance. Like, it just seems weird to be targeting solo players at this stage when there's two obvious like budding alliances. But
Yeah.
I obviously understand Santina is a big competition threat to everyone in the house. Like that, I understand that.
Yeah, I don't really get it. And I guess this is the time, I guess, where we'd say I wanted to see live feeds to see what
Hmm.
exactly is being said here, because the relationships are just so utterly confusing. But again, they're
1000%.
confusing in all aspects. Again, like you have someone like Claudia who's breaking up with Ty, and all of a sudden like she's sitting on his lap again, and she's, but she put him on the block, but then they're like all lovey-dovey. It's very it's a very interesting mix of
It's giving toxic
emotions.
relationship, you
It's
know, where it's like, I'll try
it's
to get you out next week. Ah, like,
it's like they're probably oh my gosh, this sounds horrible. I'll shut up. I don't I don't want to compromise myself in this situation, but it is giving weird behavior,
oh,
but at
1000%.
but at the same time, going back to Santina, I feel like it maybe we know a little bit more, but
Mhm,
she is very hard to read, and I feel like that she's been like that ever since like the first episode, like ever since
mhm.
like the first dailies, like we're just kind of like the way that she was holding her cards very close to her chest. But then we're hearing that she really liked Kuzi, but then she's not giving her any information. We're thinking that her and Claudia are very close, and Claudia is really trying to get close to her, and then Santina's like, no, but she's giving Claudia all the information. It's just very like Santina's just
Mhm.
moved very weirdly. Not the best social player in my opinion. I think that it's the reason
1000%.
why she was taken out.
Oh, yeah.
Why she was taken out, obviously. Like you don't necessarily, I mean, if you even had a little bit of social game, you would know not to call someone a bitch and say that their waffles suck. Like like, and then you're wondering why you got voted out. Like,
But this
I
house, it
mean,
doesn't matter because in a week they're over it. Like, it really doesn't matter.
like,
Like,
I'm sorry for going back and forth, but we have not recapped in over 2 weeks. So, like, I just have to say, was that just not the wildest thing? Like, to be like, but they taste like nothing. And she's like, you're rude. It's like, okay, rude bitch. I'm like, Santina, you literally just said her food tasted like shit, and you also called her a rude bitch. I was just
but it's because in this
flabbergasted.
house, it literally does not matter. Like, I think that's why, because do you not remember when Kuzi was HOH and she was like, Ty, you are going home next. Like, I promise you, I'm gonna work every being of my fiber to get you out of this house. And then in a week later, he's like, Kuzi's my number one in this house. Like, what? What is going on here? That's what I'm saying. It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, they bicker, they fight, but then they're over it in like 2 days, which again could never be me.
But again, it's why this season is just so great chaotically, like in us like trying to figure out, well, what the hell is actually going to happen? Like
That part.
at this point, so we go to Santina being out of the house, and now they're doing this this new HOH, just pick your poison. It's something that literally came out from another
The mole, right?
from, I think it was either
That's
the
a similar thing.
mole. Yeah, I think it was the mole.
But
It's
wait,
like you
wait, wait.
take
Before we get into that, can we talk about how when Santina's on stage with Arissa, like she really does just like hop away? Was that like the? Did you see that? Was that just not like the most awkward thing you've ever seen?
where when she left to go see, like when she
When
left the
she left to
house.
when she left to jury, when Arissa was like, "Okay, bye, Santina," and then Santina just like hops away, like offset. It's like
She did
because
the
we usually
same
never see
thing.
them.
No, but is it so weird? Like she did the same thing when she did I guess the veto.
Yeah,
I
she
don't know.
ran away and she was like, "Bye."
Yeah,
And that's I
like
was
she
like,
finished the
"Oh,
candles and then she just like ran away. That I like she did that twice. It was I don't know. I
I
think that
don't."
she probably has just, that I don't want to stay here longer than I have to
I was just
be.
like, because I feel like we
Maybe she was
normally never get to see them, like, walk off. Do you know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
for the most time, it's usually like, "Oh, stay right there, like, I'll be back." And then
Oh
she really just
yeah.
hopped off stage, ran away. I was like, "Bye, girl, I guess." And that's
This
all she
was it
wrote.
wasn't it wasn't right. It wasn't your usual typical eviction. So I guess she figured like if she wasn't being told to sit down and stay, then she was just going
She
to
just ran
walk
away.
away.
I was like, "Bye,
And
girl."
yeah, it's like okay, bye. But
But anyways, yeah,
yeah,
back to this
going
HOH.
going back to this HOH, I some people would have seen it as it being like a chance or a luck
Mhm.
type of competition. Would you agree with that?
I think yes and no. I think obviously, like, luck if you get the poison because as we saw, like and that's immediately what I thought exactly what Claudia was doing. Um, as I was like, "Oh, well, I'll just always pick the person that I want out." Do you know what I mean? Like, no matter what, and then obviously, I won't be able to tell if they actually got the poison or not, but in the event that they do, I'll just get them out, end of story. So, I think it's luck in that sense where it's like, did you actually get the poison or not? But also, I mean, how good is your, poker face? Can you
I
really, keep
well,
it going?
yeah. I feel like that's a little bit like I don't know so much about like luck. There's actually some skill in there. You have to have a good poker face, which is, acting. I feel like that's a skill. You also have to be very observant, and I feel like that's also a skill. But you also have to be very strategic, and I agree with you because the whole Claudia situation, like not many people would have thought, well, I want this person out, so I'm just going to
Keep
pick
choosing
them
them.
every time. And that's even more wild because this is like her showmance, her showmance, and she is legit just going for it. Like she doesn't even care what he thinks. He's like, I'm just gonna pick you every single time. Like I would have been like, are you targeting me, boo?
I just know that first one, I would've, either pretended like I got the poison right away and then been like, "Oh, crap," and, like, really made, like, an awkward face so everyone would pick me so that way I could choose who I wanted to eliminate.
Absolutely.
Um, or I would've just done the Claudia routine where it's like, I'm just gonna keep picking the one person. And I know
Yeah.
it kinda shows your cards, but, like, at this
At
point, it's very obvious where everyone stands, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like the girly pops in general, Claudia, Nene, and Renee have or Nene is Shanae. Wait, is Renee
Yeah, Renee, Claudia, and Shania.
and Shania. Um, they have the right to be able to show any part of their cards. They'll be like, you locked me out of like all of you.
Yeah, like,
It's
realistically,
very
it's all of you versus us, so, like
exactly. It's like obviously it's us three versus the world. So like I can pick and choose whoever. Like
period.
don't like that's why I didn't understand like Kuzi's be like, why didn't you choose me? You like as we talked
No,
about before. And
I was
Claudia
kinda
not
confused.
saying like, hello, did you forget that all of you had
No,
locked me out?
when Kuzi was like, "Do you not trust me?" If I was Claudia, I would've been like, "No." Like, "Is water wet?" Like, "No."
I yeah. Big shout out to Clinton. Clinton who says like, "Hi Jess." Oh hey, let's go to Joseph.
Mm.
Joseph says they have one day. Oh, we're talking about the episodes. They have one day to justify Claudia nominating Hope and Ty, Ty winning POV. Well, actually, Ty. Well, Clyde. No, not one day because tomorrow that she's not justifying why Claudia was nominating Hope and Ty. They did that today, but they do have to show Ty winning the POV, Claudia nominating Kuzi, and the house thinking who would leave, and someone has to leave all in 1 hour. So tomorrow they're showing what Ty is gonna do, Ty winning,
Shocker.
what they're
Shocker.
gonna do, her putting up Kuzi, and whoever is going home all within an hour. Um that's going to be interesting
It'll
and
just be very fast-paced, like I think there just won't be as many like, let's check back in on the house and see how things play out. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll just be like
Yeah.
this. Okay, time to vote.
Yeah, one of the crazy things is to where I feel like this is going, like the episodes are really
Mhm.
going pretty fast, is the fact that they have been taking out a lot of the diary room sessions. Like I haven't
Mhm.
seen
It's just a lot
any.
of talking amongst like the house guests.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot of diary room sessions. I think actually last week, yesterday, there were none. It was just like literally the fatal feast, and not
Mhm.
there was not one. So that was a very interesting take, but I like enjoyed
Oh, of
every
course.
minute of it.
I was
It
eating up the
was
drama.
absolutely this one. I'm kind of always done with the who wants to see my HOH room type of,
What do
type
you
of situation.
I saw there was a lot of discourse on Twitter because people were very upset that Kuzi couldn't play in the HOH. Do you think that that's fair?
Yeah, I think it was fair because ultimately what she ended up getting was safety. She had automatic safety. I don't see like why. I mean, she was, even though she didn't get to specifically choose
Mhm.
who was going to leave, I think she had a majority say of what was going to happen, and she knew what was going to happen.
Mhm.
And but ultimately HOH is safety. It's like that's the main thing. So she
I
won, and she
agree.
won safety. So there was no way that she was gonna come
Yeah.
out.
I just know people were saying they were comparing it to last year when like Moose won to start the chain of safety, and then he also got to play in the following HOH. But I think that
Mm.
again, like I think wording is obviously very key. Like they never told Kuzi, "Oh, you're winning a safety comp," or like this is for safety this week. They're very much like, "Oh, you're winning HOH," and that's what everyone assumed it was. So I think it was fair, and like I just feel like that's just like part of the game. Like that's just a hand of the game that you get dealt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. Um Yeah. The when going back to Claudia's HOH though,
Yes.
as she is Claudia's HOH, can we just briefly talk about that winner's outfit?
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew. It was giving dairy farmer, but listen,
I was like, what is Winners doing right now? What is this? Like, is that even legal? Like,
uh,
what does she have over?
I just don't know. The only thing I could think of is like maybe she wasn't the most comfortable like showing off like her full torso. So they like gave her something to go under. Cause did you see like the top like wrapped?
It was I don't even know what it did. I was like, is this two pieces? Is this one?
Cause to
Like,
me it looked
is
like it was like an open front that like wrapped around like this and then
yeah,
tied
and
in
then
the
she
back.
had a shirt, and then she had a shirt under
The
it.
little weird white shirt. I just feel like maybe she was like maybe it was given in case she was like, oh, like my boobs are popping out of this. Like I can't wear this? That's the only thing I
I
could think of.
I
But
love see, this is why Braden's here, because he's like voice of reason. Like, I would have
that's the only thing
never.
I was thinking
I thought
because
it was like a complete style of outfit, and I was just like, shame on you, winners. Like,
uh,
if this was like the first time that I had watched anything winners, and then I saw that outfit, I'd be like, I'm never going to winners. Like, if this is what they gifted this poor girl. And I'm not even blaming it on Claudia. It's like that was
you get the
just
cards you're dealt with.
either choose one of those shirts, or but not both.
I
Like,
think
just
I
use the bottom
agree.
one.
The 2 was weird, but that was just my thinking because the other one really did, like, literally go up to her neck. So I just assumed, like, maybe it was in case someone didn't feel comfortable showing off everything.
No, no, yay, no, her boob didn't pop out because
No,
it was covered completely. Like, it was a
period. She was
shirt.
secured.
She was just the opposite. She was very secure. Her boob, there was no way her boob was gonna pop out. The idea is that the top, it was, oh gosh, it was like a bra over a shirt. It was just weird. But not even. It was like a wrap shirt over a regular shirt.
It
It
was just
was
like a high neck crop tee, that had weird white and red patterns on it. I also just thought, listen, not us not us dissecting the outfit, but I just thought that it was just weird. It was all weird pieces that I feel like could look good individually.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
the
very
jeans could look
much.
great. If she just wore the jeans and that little white high neck top, could have been cute. I don't know why she had these, like, 5-inch heel boots on with them. I
It
was
was
like,
a
"Oh,
lot. It was
okay."
like it was like, when it's winter time and you just wanna layer on as many items as possible, not really caring what you're gonna look like because you're gonna have a coat over it and you're just, like, gonna go outside. It's like one of those moments. It was like, why did you decide that you wanted to wear all the
It was a
things?
lot going on. I
It was
agree.
a
I think,
lot.
you
But
know,
again, it was not like Claudia. It was not Claudia's fault at all
can you imagine
whatsoever.
we find out that she had, like, a list of options and that's what she chose?
Okay, I cannot say that it's not Claudia's fault whatsoever. I
We're
don't
assuming.
know.
We're
We're
assuming.
assuming that she had absolutely no choice in picking any of these things. I could say so far, Winners has been very on point with some of these outfits. Like they look pretty
Yeah. They look
pretty
pretty
good.
standard.
Yeah, they look very standard, but like fashion, forward to a point. And so, um, but
It was
wow,
it
this
was
one was a miss.
giving,
I had to say
yeah.
it because this one was it was like one of those things that took me aback. It was like, oh my God, and my winner's outfit. And she comes out, and I'm like, oh, whoa.
Jessica said jump scare.
jump, 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 like what did they just do? But yeah. Okay, so uh, going back now, Claudia decides that she is going to choose Ty and Hope.
Oh,
Another
wait.
very weird.
What did you think of Ty's pitch with the gummies?
Anything with gummies, I completely tune out. But look, I will say the thing with Ty is that he can make sense
Yeah,
when
of
he
course.
wants
Logic's on
to.
his side.
Um, but at but if I understand Claudia because like there have just been so many times where he has really just like down talked,
Oh, 1,000 actually,
gaslighted.
I think that's a personal insecurity on your part.
For-
So,
do you even know how to play this game? Are you playing? Are you playing to play? Or are you playing to lose or to win? I don't understand. Like, yeah,
I
all of these things that he has done. I think that maybe Claudia has had them in like the back of her mind and saying like this isn't going to work and I need to differentiate my game from his. And I actually respect it,
oh,
even
yeah.
though technically it might not be the best move, was not the best move for her, because I don't think that Ty really would have, but maybe he would have. I don't know. Like, I can't really read
I
Ty.
I don't know either, and, like, especially with the digital dailies where all of a sudden now, he wants to have a final tooth koozie and go all the way with her. I'm like, is this actually true? Is it not? But I definitely agree. Like, logic was on his side, and I think especially so recently after the fatal feast where he was left high to dry. I think that if I was Claudia, like I would have considered it. But like you
Absolutely.
said, I don't know where your head is actually at. And like, yeah, obviously if this is true, great deal. Let's rope you into the girly pops. It'll be us, versus them. But like realistically, time and time again, and like history has shown, you've clearly been more loyal to them. Like Kuzi won and you're running up and screaming when I lost against her literally the last week.
Yeah.
So, I don't really know what exactly you want me to do. But he seemed to
Yeah.
handle it honestly pretty great.
He has actually handled that way better than basically anything else I've watched. I mean, better than Sweatergate, better than,
I was gonna
Shania
say,
using a veto on his HOH. Like, I mean, he handled being on the block so so perfectly.
But I think it's because I was thinking about this, but I think it's because his ego is, like, so big that he's like, "Yeah, of course everyone wants me out." Like, I just gotta expect it as the big dog in the house, you know?
It
Like,
was
of course he's
almost
not.
like
Yeah,
it
he
was
takes
almost
it as, like, respect where he's like, "Yeah, of
like
course you guys want
things.
me out. I'm the best here."
Like, what was that whole "I'm proud of you"? At like, that whole "I'm proud of you" after you put me on the block? Like, what is I don't know how I would take that if someone said, I'm proud of you," like, saying, like, what? Like, you didn't think I had the balls to be able to put you up? Like,
That's what I'm
what does that
saying.
even
It's always, like, backhanded things where you're like, "Okay," where he's like, "Yeah, no, like, good job, but I'm proud you were able to do that." Like, what?
like, look, when it really surprised me that Shania was one of the people who was actually trying to convince Claudia to not put up
Mhm.
Ty
It's one
because
of
it
the
wasn't
yeah.
because it wasn't good for her, wasn't good for her game. Um and I can kind of see both sides, right? But I mean, regardless of anything or everything that happened and her choices, we're going into the veto, her saying, I don't want to waste my HOH, which I don't understand those comments because seriously, I never feel like there's a waste of an HOH unless you're targeting someone that
In your
is
alliance, yeah.
in your alliance. Like, to me, as much as I love Kuzi and I
Same.
really like her, I think that this, had she been in charge of the Thai Santina situation, would have been a waste of an HOH and would have completely like messed
Oh,
up her
considering
game in general.
Oh, yeah, considering because both were seemed to be at least so loyal to her, and
Absolutely.
every digital daily or everything we see, like, they always just wanna devote themselves to her, so I agree, it would have been a very weird choice for her to put, like, 2 of the seemingly most loyal people in the house to her on the block because in the past, we've even seen Daniel and Anika talk about, when is the right time to turn on Kuzi because we're gonna have to do it eventually, so
Absolutely. And
for
I
it to
just
be
think she has like just a very bad read, a very bad read on the house, in taking out people that are essentially really, really good for her game. I mean,
well,
even her taking out Zach, wanting to take out a big player, but ultimately Zach was one of the people that was actually working with Kuzi.
mhm,
All just very personal and in kind of show of like, I need to take out the biggest person versus wanting to take out someone who's actually a detriment to my game. And I just blame that on people not knowing the game, and not watching
yeah.
and thinking that they have to somehow make big
Like, the
moves in
biggest move is the
order.
best move, yeah.
Yeah, which I think it goes back to going back to Claudia, and that's the whole thing that's happening. Is like she wants to take out Ty, not because it's better for her game, but because she wants something, and she said it, on her resume, and she wants a big player on her resume. But what people don't understand is that as soon as you take out a big player and you have that on your resume, they are now starting to look at you as if they do not want you to be in that final with them
Oh,
because you have that move
1000%.
already. So there's ways to play, there's definitely ways to play the game.
Mhm.
I couldn't, tell you exactly what that winning recipe is because it's different every season, and obviously I did not win the game. So, but
Exactly.
I can only say that on my HOH, I took out the person, even though like it was, two alpha males. These were two alpha males that I was not directly aligned with. They
Mhm.
were two big players, but I took them out because none of them served my game. And the one
Yeah,
that left was the person I wanted gone because he was the one that I had zero connection with. So
mhm,
that would be considered a good play on my end because like
mhm.
I just was not working with that person. They would have
Yeah.
taken me out, whereas some of these people are taking out people that want to work with them. So it just kind of seems very odd,
Yeah, it seems
in ways.
very counterintuitive, but I think a big issue, especially with players that constantly talk about doing big moves, is that unfortunately that then translates to the jury. Do you know what I mean? Where obviously if Claudia's thinking it, if Kuzi's been thinking it, and that's obviously something that's been talked about in the house a lot, is like, oh, you got to make big moves this season. You got to get rid of big players. Like you can't just, sit in the back and idle and do nothing, or get rid of small players and waste your HOH. Like I think that's an issue that then reflects in the jury, where people, like, let's say someone like a Shania or something goes to the final, they're gonna be like, well, what big players did you get out? What big moves did you do? Like, all you did was
Mhm.
not use a veto, or all you did was use a veto. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't technically get any big players out. So I think it's hard because someone like Kuzi or like Claudia might know, oh yeah, getting rid of Ty isn't the best for my game right now, but in order to be respected by the jury, that's something I need to do. You know?
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Um, so we're going into the veto,
Period.
and this is interesting. It's called like double. What is it? It's like double Dutch or whatever. That
I
was
couldn't tell
very
you what it was
interesting.
called,
What
but
was
all
it?
I know is I don't know what it was called, but all I know
Oh,
is that Hope really did look like he was in a sauna.
I was
Like, he was
like, poor
exerting himself.
poor guy was like so nervous. He looked like he was sweating. He was just.
But
It was bad.
he was exerting. I was like, "Is it really that serious? Like, is it really?" Because everyone else is just like, "Oh no, the ball fell," or like, "Oh, it's
I
so
thought
close."
I was like, look at Anika go. Look at this. And she's just like do 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 do. And
No, and Hope's
Hope
literally
is
like,
like
like, I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Is it what?" I was like, "Do your ropes weigh 800 pounds?" Like, I was just very confused as to what was going on. Like, I was literally
maybe
like,
they were very heavy double Dutch ropes. I have no idea. That comp in general looked very hard actually, because I'm like, wow, you're having to put these balls like on rope and like bring it up. But I was like, I never, if we were only looking at Hope's face, I would tell you right now, I would have never thought I could finish that comp, or I could even do
"Oh,
that
he looked
comp.
like he mustered the strength of God to try and carry those ropes." But listen, my
Must have been
toxic
the
trait,
heaviest ball in the world.
no, it must have been medicine balls that literally weighed 800 pounds.
We're gonna have
Um,
to ask. We're gonna have to ask the house
no,
guests when
because
they come out. How how
um,
how heavy were those balls? Or
my
the rope?
my my toxic trait is that whenever I truly see a BB competition, I'm like, oh, I would eat that. Doesn't matter what it is. Every single time, I'm like, oh, I would win that competition. So, I
Uh,
mean, you said it
so
looked
you
hard,
thought
but I was watching it and I was like, ah, I would do so well in this.
you were like, I could totally play this. I could totally
Oh,
play this
instantly.
out.
I was like, ah, I probably would have won this veto. Wow, that's crazy. But I think that with every comp. So, I mean,
Oh boy. Well, it was down it was down to
Anika had
tie.
a lead, and then
Anika did.
I
I
don't know what
was
happened because we stopped
yeah.
seeing like camera time of her as well. Like, she started like lining them all up, and then
It's it's
they
because
focused on Ty and Hope.
yeah, it's because Hope's sweat was glistening. So, it was just given you know, all the
He
airtime. It
soaked
was
up all
given
the camera time.
he did. He did. That was pretty I was just like,
Like,
what's wrong with him?
I wouldn't honestly be shocked to find out like postseason where like they're like, oh yeah, Anika had 8 the whole time and she just kept dropping 1. Like, I literally wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. I think I feel bad because I know that Hope is at the place where he he's stressed. Obviously, he was very stressed about having Ty win this, because then that means that would really settle in his mind that he would
Mhm.
be potentially going home, right? So there was a lot
On the
there was
line.
a lot on the
Absolutely.
literal rope line for him, you know. um
Absolutely.
but I mean, as we all know from, digital dailies and everything that is going on, and what we will see in tomorrow's episode. Um, and for those of you who do not know what's going on, then we're just going to do the disclaimers really quick so
Period.
that you know that we're about to talk about tomorrow's episode. If you do not know who won the HOH or who's being nominated, you can ta-ta now. But yeah, so basically, um, Ty ends up winning. The Veto takes himself off the block. And so now we have
Ball
hope.
game, baby. Ball game.
Now we have hope and Kuzi, who is currently on the block. As of right now, she's the one who's campaigning to stay. From what we've seen in the digital dailies, it looks like she's actually okay with being on the block. Like
This
she
is
wasn't,
wild to me. Like,
yeah.
I'm a Kuzi stan through and through. Big Daddy K till I die. But it just seems so wild to me, like that. It honestly is giving like Kiefer and Tina on the block, where the whole house decided to keep Tina, and I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing, but work. But yeah, it just seems like the same, where it's like you literally have this giant target in the house that honestly at this point could win out. Like it's very possible for her, and you guys are like, no, let's give it a hope. Like, oh,
I honestly,
okay.
when looking at this, at first it was just like she was not going to go on the block. And I think Daniel had a lot to do with that. Like he was really trying for
Anika.
Claudia to put up Anika. Because then in that case, they would definitely get rid of Hope.
Yeah.
Versus Anika.
Versus it'd be a toss up, yeah.
Yeah, it would. But versus Kuzi, there's always a chance that Kuzi could go home. She is the bigger player. The girly pops have been trying
Yeah,
to.
they even mentioned it in the episode today.
Yeah, they have been trying to get rid of her. Claudia did mention in the episode that she had a backdoor Kuzi in mind. So yes, all of this is very interesting when we hear that actually Kuzi was okay to be put up. Um yeah.
I think
Um
I think it's because like again, I can see it from both sides. I can understand why the crown is like Kuzi's a more valuable member to our alliance. So therefore,
Absolutely.
like we should keep her over Hope, especially because like Hope will volunteer to go on the block. Hope will randomly just vote for who he wants to vote. Like, although he says he's loyal to us, he's very in the best words possible, kind of wishy-washy a bit. And that's not the best alliance member versus, someone like Kuzi who clearly knows how to navigate, how to hold herself, can win competitions for them, keep them safe. But on the other hand, it's like this is like such a pivotal moment in the game where it's like how getting rid of Kuzi could set me up to win the game in the end. Do you know what I mean? Like doing this one small thing could therefore traject my game to a win. But I that's what I'm saying. I can understand the hesitancy to want to get rid of Hope this week and then hope that next week Kuzi can win or one of the other two can win, and then
Yeah,
we'll deal with Kuzi later on. Because like
absolutely.
I think another mindset, and I know one that is what I had on my season is, I could get rid of like a big fish like Kiefer now, but I know that Kiefer has to win out. No one's going to bring Kiefer anywhere, and I think they might be thinking the same thing with Kuzi, where it's like no one's going to bring Kuzi to final two. Kuzi has
Yeah.
to bring herself to final two, so at this point, if Kuzi stays, everyone is trying to get rid of Kuzi every week. You know?
Yeah. Joseph is saying, how weak would it be to get rid of Kuzi this way? I don't know what weak means, like in terms of that, but I think it's a very smart play. If I
Yeah.
was one of the girly pops, there's no way if I'm not working with Kuzi directly, knowing the amount of pull Kuzi has, it would be a no-brainer to get rid, to get rid of
Yeah.
Kuzi. We're already at the final 8. It's not, we're talking about there have been players on various different seasons that have gone out a lot earlier. So to get rid of
Mm.
someone like Kuzi, again, not saying that I want Kuzi out, I'm just
Yeah. Oh,
saying that
1000%.
gameplay wise, I don't think that the girly pops are really thinking this through. Um, Hope is that, like, I agree with you, Brayden. I think that Hope is very much of a, like, one of those like wishy-washy type of, well, alliance members, although that he would be loyal to the crown. He's very unpredictable. He is very much of a wild card. It was very interesting because I think Ty was at first like interested in keeping Hope and getting rid of Kuzi. So I
Mhm.
don't exactly know what happened within that time frame that made him change his mind um to Kuzi, in terms of keeping to Kuzi, and then out of all things making her his final two. But at this
I'm
point,
saying it doesn't add up. I'm like,
it
what's
doesn't
going
add up. But
on?
I agree, like, as much as I like Kuzi, I don't see a place where she would make it to the final two. She has nobody who's going to take her to the final two
Period.
other than Ty. And that's
Allegedly.
if, and allegedly, and that's if we really like trust what he's saying, right? Because at one point he was going to take her out. So like next week it could be that he decided that he really loves Claudia and that he wants to bring her to the final two. Who knows? Like, we, in this house, everything's,
It changes on a
unpredictable.
dime.
Very much so. you know Daniel C is not going to take Kuzi out, or to the final two. But at the same time, for Daniel and Anika to get rid of Kuzi this early would be a
Yeah,
vital mistake.
I agree.
Definitely get rid of Hope versus that. Like, Hope could, Kuzi goes home, Hope jumps ship, and he decides that he wants to be with Ty.
That
You
part.
have so many different variables in this situation. So I think that the best bet is to get rid of Hope. And I think that they know that. Hopefully that's
Mhm.
kind of like how they described it to the girly pops as well, is, we have plenty of time. But if you have 3-3 right now, which is the shady bunch and the girly pops, it would be at a disadvantage. Say if I was, Daniel C or Anika, to get rid of my three before we get rid of one of your three, especially when you have a Hope, and a Ty there that can
They're
flip
just
flop
swing votes, yeah,
wherever
every week.
their way. And Joseph says Daniel C's going under the radar. I could see him winning. Absolutely. Like, I totally saw that from
You saw these,
the
Jennifer,
get. And I think that unfortunately the edit's not really helping him. I do think that he's doing a lot of,
behind the
you
scenes
know,
work.
behind the scenes work, and there's just so much drama and so much chaotic things, so many chaotic things that are
Mhm.
happening, that it's not really showing what his mindset is. And like the things that he's saying aren't really, I think people are taking them face value. With him trying to say, I don't trust Kuzi, I don't want, but to be quite honest, it's in his best interest for Kuzi to stay, because she's
Of
always
course.
going to be the person that's going to be looked at first, first than him. In a
1000%.
next week situation, if they get rid of um if they get rid of someone like Kuzi this week, then next week Ty could be in goods with the girly pops, and then it
Period.
would be a Hope and Daniel, or it would be a Hope and Anika. You never
Mhm.
really know with these situations. So you kind of always want to have not Anika, Kuzi around, just
I
to
agree.
to be that buffer.
I think that definitely, from at least looking at house dynamics and what we've seen, I think that Daniel is the best positioned in the house. Like, I don't see Daniel going home sitting next to anyone at this point. But I worry that therefore, like, if he isn't able to make a quote unquote big move, that the people in jury like won't respect his game at all.
Yeah.
Just because they do seem very gung ho on like getting rid of big players and not just, floating by, and they don't want to,
Hmm.
give a floater
But
the crown.
true, but at this day and age, like, let's talk about that. If um Daniel is next to Anika, Anika also has done nothing like in that situation, which is why probably Daniel would pick Anika to
Oh,
be his final
1000%.
two, right? Like, so she has just as as little as he does. Mind you, he also has an invisible that invisible veto that he did
Mhm.
use. So I think once he talks about that, in on on a final two, people will be like, oh, he did win something. And then there's still like a few more weeks left where he could totally make
Oh,
a,
1000%. I just
a
think
big enough
that
move.
I think, yeah, just as it stands right now, like, if the invisible veto is all he has going into the final 2, I just don't know if the jury, as of who it is right now, would respect that. But
Yeah.
also, th if it's him in the final 2, most likely the whole crown is in jury, so, like, there potentially is just, like, guaranteed votes, so I don't know, it would be very interesting, like, if it was, let's say, like, Daniel and Claudia, like, who's gonna win that, you know?
Yeah.
I
No.
just yeah.
I also don't think that Daniel would take Claudia. I think he would rather take someone
Oh, I don't
like
think
Shania versus a
oh,
Claudia, but
1000%. I just think people will take Daniel.
oh, for sure.
So, I just don't know, like, yeah, if, like, a Claudia were to take Daniel or a Kuzi were to take Daniel or a Ty were to take Daniel, I just don't know if Daniel's game as it stands right now, just because they seem very, comp in favor of as a jury, I just don't know if they'll respect his game. Not saying he was playing a bad game, I just don't know if the jury will see it as a good game in their eyes.
Yeah. It'll for sure will be a very interesting couple of weeks, which I'm excited, you know, I'm totally excited to see.
Period.
This has been for me probably one of my favorites BB Canada's to actually watch.
Hmm.
Um that's I mean, I don't know if that's is that a hot take?
I don't I think from what I've seen on Twitter, from the people that are watching, I think they agree it's been a very chaotic, very unpredictable, very fun season to watch. I don't think it's a hot take at all. I just think lots of people aren't necessarily watching, so they're just like, "How could you like a season that doesn't have live feeds?" You know?
Yeah. Actually, not having live feeds has been one of the best things for me and my social life as because seriously, nobody has time for that. And I'm actually very worried about our time once Big
BB25?
Brother once Big Brother US comes around. I'm going to
But
like
it's
hate
the
my life.
summer. You'll have time.
As is the summer, babes, I'm thinking about like being a hot girl during the summer.
I
I
mean, you're already
can't.
a
I'm
hot
so
girl
serious.
now, so, like, what's the difference, you know? It's just a change of
You
season.
know,
But
yeah. Once you're right. Once Big Brother 25 begins, it's gonna be a chaotic mess because I mean, BB can is like kind of like our little dip the toe in the
yeah.
water. It's kind of like a little dipping
It's a
of
little
what's to come.
appetizer.
It's yeah. It's before the main course just to get us back into the swing of
Period.
things. But once BB 25 hits, and then we're doing exit interviews and we're having plenty of guests and we're having like more than once a week you know
Recaps.
recaps, this is going to get really wild. So I've really enjoyed my time in terms of BB can I say that um as a whole, when we're talking about editing and just the theatrics of it, I just enjoy BB Can
Mhm.
so much because this even the Fatal Feast like was just so cinematic and dramatic,
Oh,
and like BB
1000%.
US could never. And I just
Production
it's
value's always there.
absolutely. And it's just great. But we only have a few more weeks.
Yeah.
I will be at the BB Can finale. I will be in Toronto, so I will be seeing a lot of these people. We're really excited about it. I was hoping Brayden could show up for a quick, for a
I
quick
might have to
little
make a
hi
little pit
bye.
stop. You
A
never
little bit,
know.
just kind of show his beautiful face with exactly the way he is, and just kind of like, just view the
Just
scope the
lurk in the
scene a little
corner.
bit, just work the scene a little bit, and then just be like, peace out, and I'm out. That would be, I would be okay with that. But I know that there
Okay.
are going to be quite a few people there, and so it's going to be really exciting. I would be interested in meeting absolutely everybody, minus a
Everybody.
couple of people.
Okay, there it is. I was like,
Um,
where's the clause? Because I was like, there's no way she can't get
Look,
everything.
like I was telling Brayden, what's funny is I was telling Brayden in a text that, like, I only have energy to hate one person per BB season. So once I don't like you, more than likely I'm just not going to like you, and I probably won't even say hi because I'm not that type of girl. Like,
Same.
but I have to like be 100% sure that
Oh yeah.
I'm not that I want
Or you're not
nothing
for
to do
them.
with you, that I'm, that there's not even an inkling of I could potentially like you. Um so there's only one person that I feel that about almost every
Noted. Well,
season.
I'll be looking out for that one photo. But to circle everything back, tomorrow is the eviction, and it doesn't seem like, because I know people are saying maybe there's a battle back, whatever. Santina seems to be living her life in jury. So who do
They
we
didn't
think?
say it would, yeah, that we would have been told that there was going to be some type of battle
Yeah.
back.
So who do we think is going to be the fourth member of the jury?
Um, I'm thinking it's going to be Hope. I think
I
it's going to
think
be
so as
Hope.
well.
I think that they just don't, unless there's something that happened between now and tomorrow through the digital, dailies that we didn't see, that they found out about something, that something was blown up by Hope, which is could totally be the situation,
I just don't
Hope.
know what he could potentially say. Like, we're all working together and Kuzi's the ringleader. I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I would have assumed. I didn't think it was you.
Yeah,
Like,
he could say that, that there is an alliance between all of them. He could totally tell Ty that in confidence, and Ty could bring it back to like Claudia
but
and the rest of the
listen, Ty
girls.
ain't never trusting Hope ever again after Lettergate. So
But he was going to keep Hope versus Kusi. So that's what,
I
I mean,
guess,
at least
yeah,
he
I don't
said. I
know.
don't know. It again, very weird.
I just,
Ultimately, I don't think
yeah,
that the girls have the numbers to be able,
no.
like, literally Ty is the, again, he's the number,
The
because
only
it's
thing I could see in a way that Kuzi goes home is if Daniel votes out Kuzi and blames it on Ty. Only way I could see it.
no, I think I like it would be, I mean, I'd be very disappointed in Daniel if he did something like
Oh,
that.
same. I don't think it's a smart move, but
It's
that's
not
the
a smart
only
move.
way that I could see Kuzi going home
But
is
look,
that
there's 5 votes. There's all there is 5 votes. Like, it's the girly pops, the shady bunch, and Ty. Literally Ty. It was like these are the 5 people. So if the two girly pops say, we're gonna keep Hope, maybe because Renee thinks that, I don't know
whatever,
why,
yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
And then the two here are like, we're keeping Kuzi, then there's only Ty. There's like literally, and I'm doing this on purpose for those people who don't get it. No, okay. But seriously, there's only Ty. So if Hope somehow gets into Ty's ear and says, hey, we've had this thing going on this whole time,
I don't know.
but if you vote me, you're the break it, you're like the, the tiebreaker.
My thing is, I just think Ty knows that he's such a big threat in the house that the only way to kind of combat that is keeping a big threat in the house like Kuzi. Do you know what I mean? Because then at least you know, like, well, if at the end of the week it's me and Kuzi on the block, I have a way better chance at staying versus if it's me and Anika or me and Shanae or me and Renee on the block. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like to me, he would be kind of dumb too.
Mm,
That's
true.
why that's why I'm saying, like, to me, he seems very Kuzi leaning. And that's why I'm saying in my mind, the only way is
Yeah.
literally if Daniel does a little sneak vote. And he's like, I can't believe you would do this, Ty. Like, you're done to me, blah, 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 blah. And then Kuzi goes to jury thinking, oh, I can't believe Ty would vote me out. But then again, this could go back for Daniel as another big move. Like, I voted Kuzi out.
Yeah. Hey, Renzi, my girl
Hey, Queen.
Renzi, Queen. Thanks for the shout out. Hey, Joseph says Hope is almost a cat that has 9 lives. It would be a benefit to the house if Hope leaves. Who wants Kuzi out? Ty, because she put Ty and Zach in their place with that damn note. Yeah, but
He seems
that
over it, though. That's what I was saying. Like, he seems to move past it. He's
I
past the
know
note.
it's so weird because he's literally like he has said that he actually respects Kuzi, and I think it's mainly because she is that force to be reckoned with, and some people like it
Mhm.
and some people don't. She like for someone like Ty, he respects someone like Kuzi because it's like, damn, she speaks her mind. She's you know everything that she has said has been legit, and she's like a strong woman, and I respect that about her. Even when she told me that she was going to take me out and she took this person out and like but know that him and Kuzi were always pretty much final two since the beginning of the season too.
Mhm.
Like they have only tried to target each other because they weren't seeing eye to eye on who they wanted out. So those were just like the differences, but typically like they have a really kind of like good connection. You
Yeah,
know,
it's just all of them just have such weird relationships
chaotic
that
energy. That's why we said they're all chaotic. It's very chaotic energy. I want to say Hope will leave tomorrow, but
yes.
given the case, there might be something insanely
There's
chaotic
always a
happen. It could
possibility, but
always a
I
possibility.
definitely think as it sits right now, out of everything we've seen, that Hope will be going and he will be the fourth member of jury, which I don't think anyone in jury would be too shocked by that. I think they might be shocked to find out that Kuzi was on the block next to him, but I don't think like anyone will be like, "What is Hope doing here? Oh my gosh!" Especially like, "Oh, did like one of the girly pops win?" Okay,
Yeah, right.
you
Makes
know,
sense.
like yeah, of course you're here now.
Um, hey, Kirishak. One of the great things that I think that we could eventually see for this next coming week.
Mhm,
What would something like that be? So now we say, okay, let's say Hope leaves. Hope
mhm.
leaves. It's time for the HOH competition. Who do we want to win? And chat can also
I
say this. Who would you want to win for this next HOH?
I really would love to see like an Anika HOH and just like see how her brain works and see her kind of be chaotic. I mean, obviously I would just love another Kuzi HOH. I mean, why not at this
Let
point?
it not get to her head at this point. Like the girl has had HOH itis for the past
Literally, I'm like, why not?
like 4 weeks.
But I think it would be interesting to also see someone like Shania win an HOH and just see like where her head's at. Or even a Daniel C. I just worry that actually I would like a Daniel C HOH, but again, he seems like someone that's positioned so well in the house that he doesn't need to win HOH. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like him winning HOH is now him having to declare a side. And especially
Yes.
with him, what it seems like trying to create a final four with like Claudia, Shania, him, and Anika. I feel like if he immediately puts those two up, it's like, oh, so you weren't
Yeah.
serious about this the whole time.
Nobody is looking his way. Like
No one.
absolutely nobody. And it would make no sense if there was to be.
Mhm.
I would really say that maybe if Daniel C was to, his best bet would be
Ty and Renee.
to choose Ty and Renee. Obviously, but I mean, given that Ty is such a comp beast, it's like you're putting up Ty for what right now? I would personally love to see Anika win an HOH. I think she would put up Ty. I definitely think she would put up Renee, and she would take the hit for it. Sorry, Anika. Not that I like, but I really want Daniel C to win. So it's just like he's at this point. If it's not Kuzi, it's gonna be Daniel C. And like Kuzi for me is
Mhm.
just there's just no I just see no path for her.
She's just such a big
Um
threat.
I think Renee says Team Shania. I would love to kind of see a Shania HOH
I'm
too.
saying.
I mean, I think Kuzi would probably take the
It would
downfall
definitely
to
be
it.
Kuzi and Ty again, and then
No, the thing is like I think from this last episode,
mhm.
in Shania trying to convince Claudia to not take out Ty because they could use him, it made me feel that she could potentially save Ty. And anybody who's gonna save Ty, I do not want as an HOH. Sorry, I'm just going to. I mean, look, there's so much Team Shania's. Look,
I
I
just
don't know.
I
You
think
have
she
someone
could
like
be
Ty.
I just think she could be easily swayed not to do it because especially depending on how this vote goes, if obviously Ty votes for Kuzi to stay, I would be like, well, Shania, clearly, like they're working together or they trust each other. So if you don't put up Ty and Kuzi, if Ty ends up winning the veto, he's taking Kuzi off the block. And now who are we getting rid of? Daniel? Well, in
Yeah,
our minds, he's on our side.
it's gonna be really, I feel like it's gonna be really messy because I mean, right now there's 7, so it could just go so many wrong
Mhm.
ways. You would eventually think Shania would win. She would put up Ty. She would put up Ty and Kuzi. With one of them leaving because at this
That's what
point,
I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
if she has a final four with Anika or
Exactly.
Daniel, um and she has a
She's
girly
really
pops
popped.
with Renee, then those are literally the only 2 options she could potentially put.
Exactly.
But if one of those 2 win, which more than likely they will, because at that point they're like the 2 biggest competitors, right? They're the only 2 that have so many,
But I
at
feel
this
like even
point,
then Anika
so
goes
many
out,
wins.
and still the other one will go, whether that be Kuzi or that be Ty. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just more in my mind. I'm like, it would just wouldn't make sense for you to not put up Ty here.
Yeah. Let's hope. I don't know. We just have never seen Shania play. As much as I
She's
wanna I like her personally.
mhm.
I just don't know where her head's at because she's always had like a guy next to her that she's been focused on and not really focused on game. So I don't know where that lies. Like
She
where
seems, I mean, from her little veto montage, she just seemed like someone that isn't scared to ruffle the boat and make a big move. And so I definitely see her being like, yeah, I'll put up Ty and Kuzi, whatever. Like, if one of them comes down and comes after me next week, whatever. It's gonna happen regardless. You know?
Yeah. So we'll say that. I'm excited. I'm actually
We'll
excited
end
for
it there.
tomorrow. I'm excited for tomorrow. We want to see how this is going to end up as long as there's no I just don't want to see a tie HOH. We will not
The
see you
way
next week if
the
that
way that it will just happen, I know, because every time we're always like this close to that man going home and then he wins. I'm like, oh,
look, it's giving me flashbacks of my season. It's just it's just giving me all of it's just bad vibes right there. So we just need this man needs to go sooner than sooner than later. Now at this point, if you want Kuzi to win, then you have to have Ty because he's the only person who's going to
it
take
really
her to
is
the
like an
final
Achilles
two.
heel, where you're like, oh, so I'm in this conundrum now. Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, we're somewhat excited. I'm excited to see how
Period.
tomorrow
Plays out.
ends up. Um if you don't already, click like and subscribe, click to receive those notifications. We're usually on every Wednesday after the episode. I am going to say, actually, next week, might have to change that. I think I'm going to be hosting, I'm going to be working. So I'm going to be hosting a small business expo for
Okay.
AT&T, getting my, my hosting coins
Okay. For good bag.
together, trying to. I wanted to talk about this though because we had Ye mess put this on earlier on, but I didn't want to talk about it because we were talking about the game. And she says, why does Emmett want to be your personal trainer or something? I saw him tweet you the other day. Oh my god, he has a nice body though. Premium. Emmett is fit, is so fit. So for you all who follow me either on Twitter or Instagram, you'll probably see it on other people's grams too, or socials. Emmett actually started a BB Fit 28 challenge, and basically what it is a challenge for people to work out every day for the next 28 days. And it's a whole bunch of Big Brother people that have hopped on this challenge. I was trying to get Bray on it. But as you
Girl.
can see, Bray is just too cool for school right now. He's just like, do these glasses and this bucket hat look like I'm going to work out 28 days straight?
Listen, I'll do it in the comfort of my privacy, but to publicly have to post every day and have
It does
everyone else
publicly.
hold me accountable, absolutely not.
Okay,
Listen,
I'm gonna
I know
be
my strength.
very I'm gonna be very like frank with everybody who's been watching and had probably wondered what the hell has happened in the past 2 weeks. But I had recently like a death in my close friends circle, and so the last 2 weeks has been a lot of mourning. He was very young. He was like 43, and it was just like very sudden. There was nothing wrong with him. So like I've been just using these last 2 weeks to grieve, but lately on my socials, I haven't really been posting. If it's not about BB on Twitter, I'm really just not. I haven't been on it. And I think Emmett, when he tagged, I wasn't even expecting him to tag me, but when he tagged me and he said that people were doing this BB Fit challenge, and I'm just like, what? Like why would I do this? But then I'm thinking like I'm not gonna say no to this. Like Emmett, when Emmett tags me and says, do you want to do a fit challenge? The first thing I want to say is no, absolutely. But then I'm looking and I'm like, well, this would be a great accountability. The idea of the 28 is literally working out every day um until BB finale. So now like that's kind of like it ends right at the BB finale. So once we get to Toronto, like nobody's gonna be doing these BB fit challenges. But as far as the people that are on it, it's very interesting. So shall I tell you who's in this challenge so
I'm
far?
intrigued.
You're intrigued. So obviously Emmett, he's the one who started it. Bruno is in this challenge. Rob from Papi Roberto is in this challenge. Yes. JM is in this challenge. That's John Michael for those not John Martin. For those who are wondering. Who else? Who else? Who else? We have Kevin Jacobs is in the
Ooh.
challenge. We have there's more. Godfrey. Godfrey is in the challenge. Um, Myself. Uh, who else? Well, all I and our girl Tanisha. So literally, the only two girls is Tanisha and I. So I'm kind of repping it for the US and also for the females, and I'm also the only plus size woman who's doing this. So this is going to be very interesting all around. But I'm also wouldn't say like I know people would say physically fit, but I'm like a very competitive person, and I do work out. I've run a half marathon. So like it's not something that I'm not used to. So I think that this is just like a good throw, like it's just good for me to go back into it and just be like, sure,
I love
I'll
that for
do
you,
it.
babe.
Why not?
I
Let me
love
go
that
ahead
for
and
you.
do these with the physically fit Emmets and Robertos and Godfreys of the world. Why not? What could
Go ham.
happen?
Go
what
ham.
could
I will be
what could potentially happen?
watching from my corner of Beyonce's internet. So enjoy.
So everybody on this chat, like, keep me accountable. Like, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Actually, the Instagram is where I'm going to be posting every day to say that I'm going to be at the gym. So what we have to do is 28 days, but 28 days is 30 minutes of cardio every day and an hour of weight training every single day. So literally it's an hour and a half of working out. I'm very sore. This is day 3. I'm not gonna lie. But who knows? I'm hoping that I don't lose enough weight to where my modeling jobs like will fire me for being like too thin, which I don't think is gonna happen. You can't lose that much weight in 28 days. If anything, I'm just gonna like really focus on
You never know,
toning it
babe.
up.
You never know.
Don't say that. I actually lost a lot. Did I tell you I lost a lot of clients coming out of Big Brother because I lost
I
25
believe.
pounds. I
I
lost
believe.
25 pounds. And I know that for some of you all, like people would be like, yeah, but that's you being healthy and blah, blah, blah. Like I've been healthy. Like that's not the point. Like I was healthy before I went on Big Brother. Like before I went on Big Brother, I ran a
Period.
half fucking marathon. Okay. Like there is no, I wasn't healthy. I was just a big girl. Like I was just a little fluffier. It is what it is. Do I want to be toned? Sure. But the thing is like if I'm too small, then I won't fit into the clothes that I'm supposed to be modeling. And
Period.
that's my job. So what the hell? So we'll see. But long
Uh,
story short, very, very long story. Uh it was is that I soon will be losing a job. Because
ooh.
I will be like this thin
Shut
by the
up.
time I'm by
You
the time
showing
I'm
up unrecognizable at finale. I love to see it.
unrecognizable. But don't worry, I'll gain it all back as soon as I start drinking at the bar. But yeah, Rudy, I love Braden's glasses too. He's had them on all day.
Thanks,
So all
guys. I really appreciate it.
yeah, so that is my story. Follow me if you want to see the things that I'm doing, or just message me on Twitter or Instagram. Make sure that I did
Period. Hold
my
the queen
hour and a
accountable.
half workout. Keep me accountable, all of that good stuff. Again, we will let you know. Again,
When
follow
we go.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
follow us. Just follow us, and then we'll let you know when the next time we'll be on.
Next
If it's not
Wednesday.
Wednesday, it could be Tuesday, or maybe it would be a Thursday or Friday. I'll talk to Bray about it, but it should be very
Very. Thanks
interesting
everyone
day.
again for stopping by and always watching and supporting us. We really do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Oh no, people are asking like, though, can't you pad? I do have pads actually. I do have pads. I don't pads are just for specific areas,
Period.
just to kind
Slurps
of
and
make
curves
the outfit look good, not necessarily.
to fill it out.
Yeah, it's a long process. It's very complicated, the modeling world, but yes. Okay, I think that's it. We love you guys.